Escolar Unificado del Valle de Napa, nuestra visión es clara: preparar a cada estudiante para que se convierta en un adulto seguro de sí mismo, compasivo y adaptable, preparado para la vida y equipado para ser un inspirado defensor de sí mismo y de su comunidad. Creemos que este aprendizaje comienza con la pertenencia. Cultivamos intencionadamente un entorno seguro y beneficioso en el que todos los estudiantes se sienten valorados y respetados. Esta base de pertenencia es lo que hace que nuestros estudiantes tengan confianza en sí mismos, sean curiosos y estén preparados para aprovechar tanto las oportunidades como los retos. Cumplimos esta promesa a través de un programa educativo completo y balanceado, en el que preparamos los retos y ofrecemos apoyo, centrándose en un gran programa académico, con el acceso a sólidas oportunidades deportivas, artísticas y de enriquecimiento. En el NVUSD, preparamos a cada estudiante para la universidad, las carreras profesionales y la vida. Es nuestro compromiso con ustedes. Pertenecer hoy, preparados para el futuro mañana.
All right, good evening. We do have live Spanish interpretation available. Francisco, will you please share the instructions for joining that channel?
Sure. Sí, buenas tardes. Tenemos interpretación en español simultánea. Por favor, en un momento van a ver un símbolo del globo terráqueo en la parte baja de sus pantallas. Vaya ahí, por favor, y elija Spanish y escoja después, elija Done o Listo. Si está en una tableta o teléfono celular en Zoom, busquen la palabra More o más, haga clic ahí y nuevamente bajo Language Interpretation, interpretación de idioma, elija español y luego Done o Listo. Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Susan Miller. I'm the Director of Enrollment here at NVUSD, and I want to welcome you to our enrollment webinar, where we will hopefully answer all of your questions related to enrollment. I'm very excited to be here with you tonight. I'll just provide you with as much information as I possibly can. So I want to begin by sharing the vision of NVUSD and sharing a little bit about who we are. Our graduates are confident, compassionate, and adaptable adults who are well prepared for life and become inspiring advocates for themselves and their community. We're a district of 26 schools, 1,600 staff members, and about 16,000 students. We serve the communities of American Canyon, Napa, and Yountville. We are made up of 13 elementary schools, 3 TK-8 schools, 4 comprehensive middle schools, 4 comprehensive high schools, along with several other alternative education programs. And I'll discuss some of our specific programs and pathway options a little bit later in the presentation. So as far as enrollment goes, let's begin with who should apply to attend NVUSD right now. We are now welcoming new students for the 2026-2027 school year, and families who want to enroll in their neighborhood school should complete a registration packet at this time. We're currently also accepting open enrollment applications for students who wish to attend a school other than their boundary school. And open enrollment is for current families and new resident families. Some of our resident families may be submitting 2 applications during this time. One, if they're enrolling with us for the first time, which some of you may be, and then another one if they're choosing to open enroll to a school other than their boundary school. We are also accepting applications from families who live outside of our boundary and wish to attend NVUSD. So there's some important dates and deadlines to remember right now when it comes to enrollment for the 26-27 school year. Registration for new resident students is happening right now. This is ongoing and will continue throughout the 26-27 school year. There's no deadline to register to attend school with us, but please keep in mind if you wait to enroll until after this initial open enrollment period, we may not be able to guarantee you a seat at your resident school. So the best time to enroll is right now. Open enrollment is also happening now, and open enrollment is an opportunity for our resident families to attend a school other than their boundary school. The deadline to submit that application is November 30th. Open enrollment seats are offered on a lottery basis, and families will be notified if they're being offered a seat or being placed on a wait list in mid-December. Additional waitlist offers happen in early and then again in mid-January. For out-of-district families, we expect to preliminarily accept and place students after the conclusion of open enrollment. And a big consideration for some of our families, particularly elementary, I know this is a secondary crowd tonight, but you might have an elementary student you're thinking about enrolling. We'll start placing kids in before and after care. That registration happens on February 2nd. So let's talk about some of the technical parts of enrollment and what you can expect as you complete that registration packet and that open enrollment application. So you're going to complete your student's registration to NVUSD all online through the Schoolmint platform. Setting up the account for your Schoolmint account, your student's profile, and completing the registration packet usually takes between 45 minutes and 1 hour from start to finish. And you can access Schoolmint right from the district webpage. If you prefer, we do have in-person support that's available in the Enrollment Center. You'll still use the Schoolmint platform to enroll, but we have computer stations, scanners, and bilingual staff to assist families if that's needed. So it can be a timely process getting this initial enrollment underway, and something that you can do to help streamline the process for yourself is to prepare your documents in advance. So there's several categories where we are going to need you to provide some documentation for us. So first, we need to verify a parent identity, which we do through a picture of a photo ID, and then also a picture of you holding that ID, so we know it's you. We also have to verify student identity and student age. So we usually collect from families a copy of a student's birth certificate or their passport, but there are some other acceptable items that we can take from you if you don't have either one of those. We also need to verify your address within our boundary. So in order to do that, we'll ask you to provide like a primary document, like a lease, rental agreement, mortgage statement, property tax bill, something that identifies you with the residence. And then we will collect 3 additional items that are dated within the last 45 days. Some examples of those additional items can be things like pay stubs, bank statements, utilities, cell phone bills, credit cards, or communication from government agencies. And if you don't have any of those items, don't worry. It doesn't mean you can't enroll. But at that point, a call to the Enrollment Center to talk to an enrollment specialist will be a good idea. They'll be able to help you identify the items that you do have that we're able to accept to verify your residency. There's also some health records that we'll collect from you when you enroll your student. So we will need a copy of the student's immunization record, and then there's an NVUSD health form that you'll submit to us as well. And we know sometimes students are still in the process of receiving all the immunizations that they need, and that's okay. My team works with the district nursing staff and will communicate to you back if there's another immunization that's missing or additional documentation that's required. And the health form that you'll submit for us is submitted with the registration. There's a fillable PDF linked right in the registration packet, so it's very easy to open it up, fill it out, and submit it back in the packet. There's a few items that are really nice for us to have, but not required to enroll. And this is particularly true at the secondary level. So if your student has an IEP or a 504 plan, it's really helpful if you can upload that when you register so that we can make sure that your student is provided with the proper services when they start school. And for high school students, it's great if we have copies of the student's transcript. So as counselors and school staff are working to make the student's schedule, they place them in the right classes. And finally, you'll submit that application. So every registration that is submitted is reviewed by a member of the enrollment team. If they have questions or need additional information from you, and one of the enrollment specialists will contact you and they'll let you know what's needed to complete your registration. Once the registration is reviewed and approved, you'll receive an email from us that listing some next steps. And during this time of year, we do receive a really high volume of registration packets. And so it might take us a little bit longer to review yours. If that's the case and you're curious about the status or you have questions, you can reach out to us via email or give us a call and we can help you. So let's talk about a little bit about the open enrollment application. So some families during this time will also be submitting an open enrollment application because they're interested in attending a school other than their boundary school. And in NVUSD, we have lots of choices for families. So when you're in Schoolment and you've completed, if you're new to us and you've completed your registration packet, you'll select the open enrollment option in Schoolment. This is a really quick application. You're able to select 2 school choices as part of that process. There are a few additional program questions that we'll ask you. You'll confirm your choices and you'll hit submit. It's pretty simple. Open enrollment notifications will begin to go out in mid-December and then again in early and mid-January. So we have some really great future-ready programming at our secondary level, some great things that we offer that I just want to share a little bit about. So as you're considering options for your student, please know some of the things we offer are a TK-12 DLI pathway, which does begin in middle school and continues through not middle school, it begins in elementary school, continues through 12th grade. Students receive instruction in both Spanish and English and achieve mastery in both languages. And if you have a student joining us at the secondary level, they do have an opportunity not to join the DLA pathway at middle school, but they can attend potentially Unidos Middle School and begin to learn Spanish at the middle school level. NVUSD also belongs to the STARS College Network, where we work directly with 32 top-tier universities. And through this program, our students have access to summer programming where they can gain exposure to these highly selective schools. Our high schools also offer a really wide range of career technical education programs, so students can gain hands-on industry experience. And then we offer college access to high school students as well. This happens in a couple of ways. So one is through our early college program at New Technology High School. And in the early college program, students have an opportunity to earn an associate's degree while they're still in high school. And our comprehensive high school campuses also offer a variety of dual enrollment college courses that are in partnership with the Napa Valley College. And finally, Cal State East Bay offers guaranteed admission to NVUSD students who meet specific academic eligibility criteria. So let's spend a few minutes talking about some common scenarios and questions that come up for families as they enroll. So in addition to program options that you're going to be thinking about, understanding your school options is really key in navigating the enrollment process. So every student has a boundary school. Your boundary school is associated with the address of your residence. And if you're not sure what your boundary school is, you can find that using the street table that we have located on our enrollment webpage. And then students also have the option, as I've discussed, to transfer to another school during the open enrollment period. This allows your student to attend a school other than your assigned school. The best time to do this is during an open enrollment. Sometimes outside of open enrollment, students are granted transfers when they are experiencing a hardship or a special circumstance, but the best way to exercise that school choice is to apply right now during open enrollment. So open enrollment and open enrollment wait lists are a topic that generates lots of questions for us in enrollment. So we have a set of priorities that are established by our school board that are used to guide open enrollment. And these priorities include things like program alignment, sibling attendance at the school, parent employment at the school, and socioeconomic balance. The number of seats available at each site is set based on a few factors like current neighborhood enrollment, program enrollment, and enrollment trends. Lotteries are run in the Schoolmet software based on board priorities and based on the seats available. Schoolmet generates the offers and generates waitlists at the same time, and families are notified of the outcome in mid-December. So families who receive an open enrollment offer will have 48 hours to accept or decline the seat. And because our families are able to choose 2 school options during open enrollment, some families might receive 2 open enrollment offers, some receive an offer and a waitlist seat, and then some families may be on 2 waitlists. Once a family accepts a seat, they're not able to remain on a waitlist. So if you've listed first and second choice, you get offered one, waitlisted at the other. Once you choose a school, you will not be on the waitlist for the other option. And we process this initial run in mid-December. And then as we see seats that are remaining, as families make choices, we're able to make waitlist offers again in early January and then again in the middle of January. After mid-January, we will have some waitlists that remain. And as seats open up in those programs, we will place students and keep a balance between placing students off the wait list and also placing new neighborhood students who may have enrolled after the open enrollment period. And waitlists will expire at the end of June, with the exception of some of our non-boundary programs that only fill through open enrollment. Those waitlists will stay open until after school starts. So sometimes families start their registration, they submit it, and then it gets bounced back to them by a member of the enrollment team, and people wonder, like, what happened? What do I do next? So because we review every registration, sometimes we find that a registration isn't complete or there's a little bit more that's needed to finish that up. Someone will contact you if that's the case. They'll let you know what's missing, what's needed to complete the registration, and that they're putting it back in progress. The most common issues families run into are sometimes we can't see documents that have been uploaded. Sometimes address verification documents are they're not dated within 45 days. We need something more recent. Or sometimes students have immunizations that are incomplete, and we contact you to remedy that. So out-of-district families, families who live outside of NVUSD are welcome to apply for enrollment in the 26-27 school year now. They will need to submit the out-of-district enrollment packet. So when you create your Schoolment profile, if your address is outside of NVUSD, when you go to register, that will be the only packet that's available for you. And we will review these as they are received, and families will receive a preliminary response from us. If you receive a preliminary acceptance, you'll need to work with your district of residence to complete whatever required paperwork they have. And families who are applying from outside the district are applying to attend NVUSD, not necessarily a specific school, although we do in that registration packet ask your school preference, and we do our best to accommodate your request if we're able to accept your student. So in advance of tonight's webinar, some of you submitted some questions. I'm going to answer a few of those now. Please know that if we do not get to your question tonight, you will receive an answer from someone from staff in the next week with an answer to your question. So here's a question that was submitted about students who might have an IEP. How are students with an individual learning plan? How are these students supported? So students who have qualified to receive special education services they receive the services that are outlined in their IEP. And students who qualify for special education services participate in open enrollment exactly the same way that their typical peers do. And if you're coming to us new, it is very helpful if you can provide that IEP at the time of your student's enrollment. So question about how the process is from going from 5th grade to middle school, which is a great question. So all of our 5th grade students automatically enroll to their resident middle school with a few exceptions. So no need for 5th grade families to do anything. They automatically roll up into middle school, either their resident school or If you have a fifth grade student who's at Pueblo Vista, attending Pueblo Vista or NVLA, they will be enrolled at Unidos so that they can continue in the DLI pathway. And if you have a fifth grade student attending Shearer or Vichy, they will automatically stay for sixth grade. We've got a question about transportation options. Where can families learn more? So everything you need to know about transportation is on our webpage. It's a really great resource. You'll be able to find contact information there to get in touch with transportation, to ask questions, bus route information, just anything that you might need to know is there on our webpage. So this question is about one of our TK8 schools. Question is, my child currently attends an elementary school where middle school is offered, and they need to stay due to siblings and work schedule. Why is a spot not guaranteed when he has been at this school since kindergarten? This is a great question. So we have 3 TK8 schools in our district, Browns Valley, Shearer, and Vichy, and the sixth grade cohort size is limited to 64 students. So in places where we might have more than 64 fifth graders, we do ask families to open enroll. So for example, at Browns Valley, there are more than 64 fifth graders. And in the past, we ask families to open enroll, but we have never had 100% of the families want to stay. And in the past years, we have been able to allow any fifth grader who wants to stay, there has been a spot for them. If there were a scenario at Browns Valley where more than 64 of the fifth graders wanted to stay for sixth grade, we would run a lottery, which is why we ask families to open enroll. So we have that information there. And part of that lottery priority would be given to siblings and to resident students. So a student who had been at Browns Valley since kinder, lived in the neighborhood, and had a sibling would likely be placed at Browns Valley for middle school. So question about where families can learn more about the arts and athletic programs at school. And this is another great place where our school web pages have lots of information about the individual programs and athletic offerings that are happening in each of their school sites. And it's also would be a great opportunity if you had questions about these kinds of programs to sign up to take a school tour or attend an open house as a way to learn more about what's offered at some of our individual sites. So if we didn't get to your question this evening, as I said earlier, please know that someone will reach out to you to provide you with the information you requested within the next week. If you'd like to keep learning more about enrolling in NVUSD, you can visit our webpage. You can find contact information on the enrollment webpage if you need to get in touch with someone in the enrollment center. And you can also check out the schedule of school tours that are happening right now during the open enrollment period. So thank you so much for attending this evening. Please do reach out to the Enrollment Center if you have any questions or if you need assistance. Have a great night.